This is Olivia Bailey back with you on Emory and Henry Reports. This is your sports interview today. Today we have sophomore midfielder Ashlie Caldwell with us, a transfer from Hollins University. Thank you for being on the set, Ashlie.
Thanks for having me.
So Hollins is one of our conference, in the ODAC. Can you kind of explain, when you were playing at Hollins, what the viewpoint on Emory was?
It was a rival school. Emory had always beaten Hollins. Hollins had never beaten them. So it was always a big game, and it was one of those games where if we beat them, they didn't make it to conference, and vice versa.
So while you were at Hollins, was there ever any thought in your mind that you could be playing for Emory and Henry women's soccer?
At the time, no. Toward the end of the season, there was a possibility. So.
Okay, and you just finished playing Hollins. You had a win there. Can you kind of explain some of the emotions that you had in that game? Any players that you might have played with while you were there at Hollins?
Two of my closest friends still play there, so it was a little bit awkward getting them on the field. And when we walked out, I actually was standing beside one of my best friends, and it was interesting because we didn't speak, and it was hard to be next to them and say, one of us is going to win or lose. Emotions were probably really high during the game, and I got a red card because apparently I hit a girl in the face. So I guess you could say they were running high. It was a big game for us. We needed to win it. It was redemption for last year, and I think I needed to win because leaving that school made it a big deal. I couldn't let them beat me. So.
And coming from Hollins and having the experience for playing for another ODAC school, does that kind of change how you view other ODAC schools? Do you feel like you've gotten advice from different coaches on how to take each game? Do you think that's made an impact on the way you play?
Not really. I think the changing coaching style has taken how we play each game. My old coach tended to have an optimistic viewpoint. There's always a chance, Coach Baker's really realistic, saying this is how we have to beat them, who is the better team that day. So it's different coaching really changed things. So.
Okay, and you talk about the different coaching. In what ways have you had to change your playing style in the way that you have been brought up in soccer? Has there been any, from mental changes, emotional changes? How has that influenced you?
Coach Baker actually got to revert me back to my old ways. Hollins was the change. They played a more passive soccer than I had been taught to play. So when I got here, Coach Baker actually allows us to play more I got to play more like how I always did.
Okay, and so let's go back to that and kind of talk about some of the things that you grew up playing soccer. When did you start playing soccer?
When I was 4.
Okay. Did you play for school leagues? Did you play for a rec league or club teams? How did you get involved in that process?
I played in the rec leagues till I was old enough to play travel. Then I got into the club soccer, and then I played varsity for 4 years.
Okay. And where did you play high school soccer?
Lord Botetourt.
Lord Botetourt. Okay. And coming in, I know I've had interviews with Coach Baker, and you talk about her realistic style of playing, and now you have Rachel Preston coming in and taking over as coach for the rest of the season. What changes do you think are going to be made there, and going into next season and having a new coach there, what impacts do you think that's going to have on the team here at Emory?
I think Rachel's going to do a really good job. Coach Baker's taught her what she's supposed to do. There might not be too big of a change right now since she played for Coach Baker. She knows what she's doing. She knows the game. Coach Kish is going to be helping us out, and he coaches really similarly to Coach Baker. So I don't think there's going to be too much of a change this year. Next year, however, we don't know what we're getting into. We don't know what kind of coach we're going to have. There's so many changes that could happen. So.
And I know in Coach Baker's coaching method that she also focuses something on, making a real close team and having the players really consult with one another to kind of build that team bonding relationship. And I know you guys have something called team dates that I've heard you talk about. Can you kind of explain that a little bit?
Team dates, we were assigned to go on a date with every person on the team. Individually, you try to get to know your teammates. She wants us to be a close team. She wants us to be able to solve our own problems. And you can't do that unless you know your teammates. So you just set up your time with your busy schedule. You go out, you can go to dinner with them. You can watch a movie. You have to spend quality time with your teammates and get to know their likes and dislikes, and you spend time with them at practice and games, and you really find it's hard because we all hang out as a team anyway, so you find it's really hard to go out on your own and hang out with your teammates, but we do. Everyone's become really close, and you learn their style of play too, so you learn who you're working with and how to play better with them, and you learn their personalities, so everyone's gotten to be really good friends. We're a really, really close team.
Okay, and how would you say that directly impacts your playing on the field? Do you guys know how to communicate better? Is it things that it's like that you don't really have to talk, but you can communicate? What kind of things has that really put into your style of playing on the soccer team?
You learn how to talk to certain people, how someone's going to respond to the way you speak to them, and you know who you're working with. You know if someone can play a certain way, how you have to play yourself to make things work. You learn how to calm a player down if they're mad or upset, and you learn more about yourself and how you can speak it to other people. So it's really good to learn who your teammates are.
Okay, and we've talked a lot about where you come from and things like that, but let's talk about you as a player. You're a midfielder. Can you kind of explain what your responsibilities are in that position?
Your responsibilities are, you have to be numbers up on offense. You control the midfield of the game. You have to make yourself available at any time, and you also have to get back. You have to play defense, because if you don't, it's 4 of your teammates against 6 or 8 of the other team, and that doesn't look very good for you guys. So you're basically responsible for the whole field. Offense, defense, anything in between. If one of your players goes up, you have to fill in for them. The midfielders do a lot.
And taking that position and making it your own, making it your individual position, how would you explain your personal type of playing?
I tend to be really aggressive, maybe sometimes over-aggressive. But I like to get the ball. I like to play with offense and defense. I like to be really involved in all aspects of the game. I like to score. Doesn't happen all the time, but I want everyone to get as much time with the ball as they can, and I always want our teammates to score. So I'll do whatever I have to make that happen. And if it happens to be me, that's great. So.
Okay, now that you're here and you're at Emory, and you've been through these transitions, why did you transfer? What kind of pushed that to the decision that you were like, I need to come to Emory and Henry to play soccer?
Well, when I went through all of my recruiting visits, I got told that there's a great interdisciplinary program at Hollins, and that I wanted to do sports management and physical education. So they said, yeah, you can do it, no problem. About Christmas time, I found out that there are certain classes that I absolutely have to have that I would have to pull from another school. Those credits come from a program that doesn't exactly transfer to individual people. And so I had to start my search for a new school to go to. And Emory and Henry and Lynchburg had the 2 programs I needed, and it came down to the coaches. I went to Lynchburg. Their coach just he's not a very nice person. And then I met Coach Baker, and my mom and I sat down together, and they had the classes I need. Emory had the best coach I probably could have ever thought to play for, and it was an easy decision to make.
Well, we're glad that you're here for sports and academics, and we have been glad to have you on the show. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
This has been Olivia Bailey with your sports interview. Now we'll send it to Cole Conley for your sports update today.